YouTubers, welcome back for another adventure. So as I'm trying to rebuild my toolbox, one of the things I need is my carburetor mount here, right? I mean, see how easy that comes off. Then the carburetor will turn sideways and set one ablaze. So let's make us a new mount. When I built this, you know, kind of caveman style here, you could see the size wasn't quite right, so I wrapped a bunch of tape around it. Functional, yes, gets the machine started, but you don't want to ride with it. I discovered, experimenting, this is an 1¼ inch copper cap, and you drill a hole somewhere near the center of it. I happen to have a lathe multi-machine available, so it's pretty easy for me. One could also do it by eye because you don't have to be completely exact, and I'll show you how to get around that in a second. You have the flange part, you have a hole in it, and you want to put it on a piece of copper or brass. Where do you get the copper or brass from? You can see that's a switch plate. And you can see that's a brass hinge. This came from somebody's scrap bin. And this I paid for. I don't think I paid $5, but I'm not exactly sure where it came from. But anyway. Once you get your copper plate, how do you drill the holes? This happens to be a spacer that's perfect for such things. Or you could just hack the end off a dead carburetor. That allows you to figure out where you're going to put the holes. And then to get the center, I just put a drill bit in and gave it a little tap. And that'll allow me to drill that one. So let's get that much done. Right? All I have to do is drill that right there. And I'll show you how to drill the next one such that it's centered perfectly. And how to kind of find the center on this. Excuse the furnace, but by drilling that hole first and then attaching the spacer, in my case, or the end of the carburetor, now you could drill this hole perfectly because that drill bit is exactly the same size, and you basically use the mount as a guide. By putting the 2 bolts in and then centering, you could get it exactly where you want it, up and down, and side to side, right? Because the spacing between those 2 bolts is pretty tight, as you see. And then you just give it a little tap, put the drill, and drill it out. By using a step drill, one could walk it up to the size you want it to be without it wandering around too much. So it's drilled, it's centered, it's happy, and given the play, right, as I bolt this on, I can move things around. I'll show you that too before I solder it up. Now it's just a matter of cleaning it up. So emery paper and a few minutes of elbow grease. I got things centered up the best I can. Hit it with a little flux. So now it's just a matter of soldering. I normally solder from this way. That way the solder pulls in. This is the flange. This is the side that's going to be up against the carburetor, so having solder boogers on here don't do you any good. And quite honestly, running solder boogers along here where you're sliding into the carburetor doesn't do any good. So I normally just heat it up and just allow it to gently pull underneath. All soldered up, all happy, right? Took the bolt out. Now, how do you drill this? You can either chuck this into your lathe and spin it and drill it that way. Once again, use step bits. Or you could put 2 bolts in it and just to hang on to it, so to speak, and then drill it this way. So it's up to you. If you grab onto it with your hand, put this on here and start drilling it, it will spin within your hand and tear you up, so don't do that. And by the way, this is more or less self-centering, right? So you'll go just drilling this way, you would eventually work your way to the center. I recommend doing it step by step. I'm probably going to put this in the lathe and spin it round that way. It's just I have a lathe, might as well use it. So you'll see this again in a couple of minutes. I'll go with the cardboard gasket, little Permatex Aviation gasket material. We'll smash that right on, and look how pretty that is. If you painted it black or silver, it would look like it belongs on the machine. Here we go, just very gently. You don't want to over tighten anything, you have to smash it down. This is going to take a couple of minutes. It's very nice, gentle, no big hurry. Remember, it's fun to play with a lathe, it's fun to use a lathe, so go nice and slow. What's the rush? It's bolted on with the former gasket and cardboard gasket. Look how well centered that is. I didn't lose any of this. What is this, a PZ27? So I'm just going to finish smashing it on. We'll see how she sounds. Okay, the carburetor's bolted up. I have my gas can on there. This is a cold start. I think everything's in place. Choke on. Choke on. Let's see how well it starts. By the way, I checked the oil already. I just got to turn that idle down, obviously. Smash the GoPro on and we'll get this thing out for a ride. Okay, off like a herd of turtles. Let's see how she does. Oh, something small. Clutch works. Depending on how you do the calculation, I get about 600 in this. be able to drive it in and not have it die. That's a good thing. I'm happy enough with this. I'm happy now that I have a carburetor and a carburetor adapter. I can hop this around as I get things started. Next up, we'll do that guy. I got to build a portable CDI box. You know, with these things, you got to have your tools to make progress. And once I get that portable CDI box built, I'll have my toolbox replaced and put together better than it was before it disappeared. Some of you wondered if it was stolen from the property. I don't think so. There's a lot of monitoring of this property. I have a lot of people that come in and out that monitor the property. I have a lot of folks keep an eye on things for me, so I'd be really surprised if it disappeared from here. My guess is it fell out of the truck because I had it on top and drove away. I haven't seen it on the side of the road locally, but I could have done that somewhere else. Or I had it in the back of the truck and somebody clipped it, took it right out of the back of the truck. Or I left it someplace. I was working on a project somewhere and I left it. For the life of me, I can't figure out where. If I had to guess when, it was probably October time frame, September, October. So, you know, these things happen. What are you going to do? If it does appear, I'll be happy though. Yeah, this thing's about to run out of gas. I'm happy it sounds